Count us down, folks.
Before we get going, hold on. What was that you asked me, Kyle?
What did I ask you?
As we were starting the recording?
Oh, I said he really does mess with his hair a lot, doesn't he?
He does. All right, continue with your introduction, Dennis.
Listen, you guys would understand if you didn't keep your hair so closely shorn that sometimes it has a mind of its own. You got to keep it tamed down.
Keep talking, because if you were in the same room, the next time you would say, you guys would understand if your ass had been thoroughly stomped, just like mine had been by Kyle and Cullen.
I wager pound for pound I have more hair on my head than you do.
I might be close. If you take my head and turn it upside down, I am you.
Well, sort of.
I mean, the gravity would help
To a
create
fine
the
point.
point. Well, yeah, but because the gravity's helping you out.
It's not gravity. It's genetics.
It's wiry. It's wiry hair. Listen,
I can't grow a beard and I can't grow hair, so I guess I'm just shit out of luck.
Yeah, but you look so good with a nice clean baby face that it doesn't matter.
I haven't had a clean baby face. I've had something on my face because I'm too lazy to shave.
Well,
For years I've been too lazy to shave.
You got that Chris Grind disease where even if you don't shave, it's like I don't know. A baby's behind.
Keep talking. This is the last episode anyone sees you. I'm going to step off here, and then in a few minutes I'm going to walk in that door behind you like a serial killer from some millennial horror movie, and I'm going to choke you to death with those.
Well, that would be impressive because you are like 2 hours south of me.
You don't know. You don't know where I am.
We could be in a trailer outside your house.
No, you would have had to have elaborately Ocean's 11'd yourself a room I've been in before.
When I decide to kill you, it's going to be an elaborate plot. So just get ready. Why? Because you deserve it, Dennis.
No, why would you bother? I would let you in my house.
That's not as much fun.
This isn't good radio, you guys.
This isn't the radio at all.
It's not a good YouTube video either.
I feel like it's strange that you watched this show before and think that this is any different than what we normally.
Yeah, this is everything. Yeah. All right, Dennis, introduce us, please.
Welcome to, I think it's episode 19, is that right? Or is it 18?
I don't know.
You're the one who would know.
No, normally I look it up. It's an episode of Missouri Swagger. We were supposed to do it last Friday, but Cullen didn't even respond to my messages about recording until today.
That's right.
Because he's a busy
whole
man.
week. I left a week because I wanted you to know that I wanted you to be certain that I was dissing you, that I was actively ignoring your messages.
Well, and you inadvertently created a lot of suspense that I then had to relieve on Twitter because of the my Marvel solicits came out with my real name on it. So my big reveal of my secret identity happened via previews, and I had to tweet about it.
Well, I want to talk about that, but first, let's introduce our special guest,
Kyle Strom,
artist and writer extraordinaire, who is visiting me here at Snake Mountain.
Snake Mountain's what you call it here?
Yes. Even though
you have a voice changer.
Yes.
I should get that. It's a wolf, right? It looks like I have snake. I used to. No,
the microphone looks like a wolf.
Yeah, the microphone looks like a wolf. That'd be an awesome way to do the episode.
It looks more like a weasel, if we're being honest.
You look more like a weasel, if we're being
Sick
honest.
Weasel.
What's kind of, I guess it depends on whether that's its neck or whether it just ceases to be an animal once.
Or if you're a child or a grown man.
I like that you're worried about how correct a microphone wolf is. That you on a mountain that looks like a big purple snake face.
No, I mean, it looks like a ghost. It looks like a cartoon ghost face.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a serious.
Because it has a giant striking snake up at the top.
Yeah. Well, on the drawing on the cartoon, the snake is a prominent
cartoon.
I didn't watch the cartoon yet.
Yeah, I heard about this last night.
You did. We argued about. We didn't argue, but we discussed that I didn't watch He-Man cartoons.
You just read the mini comics, so you think he's some sort of barbarian with half a sword?
Yeah, He-Man's no sort of barbarian.
He is, but he's like a happy-go-lucky barbarian.
He
makes jokes surrounded by funny people.
No, in my opinion, he's very Conan-like. He's not very happy-go-lucky. I mean, he has moments of mirth, but he's also
your He-Man's different than our He-Man. They made a whole cartoon show that was meant to amuse children about the character, and that's where our take on him comes
Who
from.
was your favorite He-Man character, Dennis? Your favorite toy?
Man-at-Arms was my favorite toy because it was the one I didn't have. It was like the main character I didn't have.
The one you don't have always becomes like your grail.
I liked Webstor.
Stratos is probably my favorite design.
He was a spider. You could hook his hook, and every Sunday morning I'd wake up.
Oh, I remember him. His name was Webstor.
I'd play with it, and he'd swing across the room.
Yeah, I like. There was one. There was one that was sort of purple and orange, and he had a thing on the top of his head, and you'd spin him, and his face would.
Many faces.
I liked him.
Yeah, Manny face. Yeah.
So that was my favorite. It wasn't my brother's, but if I were going to pick one to play with, that would be the one I liked. Because
I was cooking up a Mam and George Webster joke, and Cullen got in the way of it with Manny faces. So
that's probably good.
All right, so let's talk about this name. So now I'm supposed to refer to you as what?
I used to think it was many faces.
Now I'm
like tiny faces.
No, it's mana faces.
Yes.
It's many faces.
Yes.
Well,
speaking of
many faces, tell us one of your other many faces. What?
Excellent.
First of all, what are we supposed to call you now?
Stop it. I've recently decided to start using my real name and not a silly pen name that I came up with when I was 22 and didn't know better. I want to use that on my comics going forward, and I'm going to use it in my writing. But I understand that I have spent over a decade building a brand and a fan base, and so I can't just drop Dennis Hopeless like the bad habit that it is.
We've all tried.
Yeah. So I mean, for a long time, I thought I was just stuck with it. You know, you have a pen name, you build you build
right.
a brand, that's what you get. But I actually discussed it with Ricky Purdon at Marvel a while back, and he's like, "Well, yeah, actually, we tend to suggest people at least use their real name with whatever their pen name is on it when they first start at Marvel for exactly this reason, because we don't want you to build a brand that you grow out of." But we talked about it, and we decided we're going to leave Hopeless on the covers for a while, and things will be promoted as Dennis Hopeless. But in the credits page, it'll say Dennis Hopeless Hallam, which is my real last name. And then eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to transition into using.
So often during these talks, was Dwayne Johnson mentioned?
No.
He wasn't?
He wasn't. No.
That's fascinating.
He should have been. But yeah, I meant to say, I guess that's the problem.
So,
my fan base is not as large as The Rock's.
That is a problem.
I mean, it would be better if it was. Also, I'd be less inclined to care about using. I mean, the thing is, I came up with this pen name when I was very young, and I thought I needed a rock star name, and my father had just passed away, and I didn't have a great relationship when he died, and I, didn't associate with that side of the family at all, and it just seemed like, let's come up with a cool fucking name. And that was a grand idea when I was 22.
Hopeless. What led you to Hopeless?
Don't ask that question.
I want to know.
We're going to open a can of worms, and we're going to ask you to tell the story.
Why?
Dennis knows why.
It was just a dumbass. It was a dumbass decision.
I mean,
the problem is, at this point, I am a middle-aged man with children who is going by what sounds like an AOL screen name. And
your AOL screen name is worse.
It was worse because I misspelled a word. So yeah, it would be nice to just go by my name. And as you get older, your childhood relationship with your dead father matters less than the fact that you had a father who's been deceased for a long time. And I've gone through a lot of changes in the last couple of years. I got out of what became a very toxic relationship, where I'm ready to be regular driver's license Dennis again.
Has that always been on your license, your real name?
Yes.
See, I always thought, because I remember years ago I was at a convention and I saw it happen like 2 times, not with you, but I saw it happen with 2 times with other creators where they had pen names and their rooms had been reserved by the publisher or the convention under their pen name, and they got there with their driver's license and it doesn't match, and they wouldn't let them into their room. And that's when I started to realize that some of you knuckleheads use different names.
Yeah, what's funny is how many people don't get that Hopeless is, like, when I say that it's not real, they're like, oh, really? Like, yeah, no, that's not a real name. That's a fake name. It was supposed to be like a punk rock name, which, I mean, so punk rock. But yeah, that's happened to me before. One time I had a flight that was booked as Dennis Hopeless because someone
that's
who
dangerous.
was booking a flight was a dumbass, and I had to pull out. It's not important.
Let's do a new segment.
I had to pull out this X-Men season 1, or this like season 1 preview book that they did of all of our season 1 books that had that little circle with our head in it, and that was the only thing I had on me because I had like a con box that had my face and Dennis Hopeless next to it. And they're like, okay, well, it's clearly you, but we can't let you on the plane unless it says the same name on your driver's license. So I had to pay $75 to transfer the ticket from Dennis Hopeless to Dennis Hallam.
Oh, well, I'm feeling a little better. I thought you were going to say that the TSA said, okay.
Yeah, I was like,
I saw your picture in a comic, so that's fine.
No, I caught it at ticketing. So I just transferred the ticket, and then I made them, whoever it was, we won't say, who was shipping me wherever they were shipping me, I made them pay the difference.
That means he still works with whoever this dumbass.
No, it doesn't. There's no reason to throw shade. It was a one time I went somewhere to do a signing. When I got there, the car that came to pick me up had more dog hair per square inch than any place I've ever been in my life, including a kennel.
Your pickup car to the convention?
It was one of the people involved in this event picked me up in their personal car.
Was there more hair in the car than is on your head?
Well, yeah, pound for pound. Well, I don't know, because the car weighs like 2,000 pounds. So no, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think you understand the question.
Yeah, he didn't buy. I figured out who the dumbass is.
Are you asking if there was more pounds of hair in the car than on my head?
I remember being picked up. I like this line of thinking. I like this line of discussion. I know we weren't planning on talking about it, but I remember being picked up for a signing or a convention one time, and they had a van, and the van didn't have any seats in the back.
Oh.
So, but there was a rolling chair just sitting in the back.
That's safe.
You sit in the rolling chair and you roll every turn. You're like, whoa!
Wait, did the rolling chair have a seatbelt on it?
No.
I mean, you grew up in North Carolina in the 70s. I'm sure you've ridden in the back of a truck plenty of places. That wasn't the first time you were in a death trap.
Most fun place to ride in a truck.
Statistically speaking, it's the safest way to travel.
Because there's no other cars where you're going? Where we're going, we don't need roads. That was a Back to the Future joke.
We all got it.
We got it.
You both got it. I'm telling the people in the TV land.
If they're watching this.
Some of them. You never know. People that are watching this, you got to question their mental stability.
If they're still watching.
And what's awesome is at some point now, he's insulted the audience.
Yeah.
Later, he will beg them for money in some fashion.
Listen, the whole reason we're doing this is to get people's money from their pockets into our pockets.
Where's my
Not
so far, we're not there yet. Well, this is a startup, and we haven't gotten to the funding stage.
I feel like we have completely different reasons for doing this.
No, you're just less honest than I am.
Agreed, but that's still, I still think we have different opinions. But let's talk about Kyle's here joining us. Kyle is a longtime viewer, first time guest.
Kyle actually will ask me where the swagger is if it doesn't happen.
Oh, that's a good T-shirt. Where's the swagger? I like that. That needs to be the T-shirt.
That's a good T-shirt.
It's gonna be where's the swagger and where's the it was gonna be where's the hopeless because you're never at conventions, but it could also be where's the Hallam.
You'll sell 12 of them.
Yeah. I'll give out the where's the hopeless T-shirts. Everyone who asks at a convention, I'll give it.
Well, we need a hashtag fuck Dennis Hopeless, and we need a who the fuck is Cullen Bunn. Right off the bat. Those are the first two we need because those are the best internet memes we got.
You say so. But this wasn't what we're supposed to talk about. What would we want to talk about?
Well, you invited a man who's never watched a reality television
That's not true. I've watched
an episode.
Well, you wanted to talk about
sometimes-
reality TV.
Only because you don't watch anything else.
No, I watch one reality show.
How many episodes of Survivor would you say you've seen?
I've seen a lot of episodes of
How
Survivor.
many episodes of Survivor are there?
I don't know. I have not seen all the episodes of Survivor. I stopped watching it for a while, but then I got back into it.
I'll tell you what a good reality show is.
Let's hear it.
It's Naked and Afraid.
I've watched
It is
that.
good.
I watched a few
It's a good
episodes
one.
of that.
I watched that at your house, not you, viewer. I'm pointing at Dennis Hallam.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Watch
Naked
it.
and Afraid is good. I don't watch it regularly, but I have watched episodes of
I
it.
like it when they cry in the tent all night.
It makes me feel good about myself.
Well, here's the thing about Kyle. Kyle is better at getting himself comfortable than any creature I've ever met. So my favorite thing in the world is the idea of Kyle walking into my house, immediately taking my best chair, no matter how many people are here, and then watching people be so uncomfortable that they cry.
Well,
It's a good juxtaposition.
I ask if anybody's sitting there, and everybody's like, no.
Look, the chair is up for grabs, but you're always the one that gets it.
that's law of the jungle, baby. The way he lives,
I'm
naked
not
and afraid.
complaining. I'm just
You
saying
learn
that's
it
how
naked
Kyle.
and
It's one of my favorite things about Kyle.
That's an interesting note about you, that you're easy. You get comfortable very easily. I
I do.
like that.
Look at me now.
No, you don't look comfortable right now because we're kind of wedged into my.
But it's cozy.
we're
It's real cozy.
we're wedged into my writing nook. I feel like I needed to clarify it just a little bit. I wanted to make sure I was very explicit in that wording.
So you guys haven't started promoting the project that you're working on. There's a reason he's there, right?
Well,
That's not.
he's
No.
just here to be my buddy.
Yeah, we're just.
You can tease it. I'm not going to say the name or who the people involved are. One of my projects, weirdly, this week, one of my projects got announced by one of the other collaborators, and I'm not mentioned in it at all. So
I saw that announcement. It was awesome.
The internet is excited about a thing. I'm
Your
doing.
last name?
Huh?
What?
No, like one of my upcoming books was teased by one of the other collaborators, and they did not mention me.
He can't. He doesn't
Okay,
feel comfortable.
Mention the creator.
Who's the dumbass? I know.
I mean, it sounds like I'm the dumbass.
Yet
I'm gonna
again,
be honest.
you're the dumbass.
But yeah, like when the book is
I'll
officially
tell you.
announced, I'll be attached to it. But it's
Yeah, I think it was announced, it was teased, and it didn't have your mention. Did you
right.
tell
Well,
your-
it makes sense that it didn't because of where it showed up and why and how. It's fine. But I was just like, oh, awesome! Everyone's real excited about this thing. I guess I'll go write some of it. It's all right. I got a little Cullen angry for.
I bet you didn't. Kyle has seen me get close to. I wasn't full on Cullen angry, like full blown angry, but you saw. I did tell someone that if they deal with me any further, they should be aware that I'm a son of a bitch.
Rational.
Oh, a rational son of a bitch.
Did you try to get Springfield cashew chicken and they gave you regular cashew chicken?
No, I don't eat that anymore because I'm no carbs, baby.
Hats off to him.
Chicken doesn't have carbs.
Potato chip. Or a.
Kyle ate tortilla chips
Tortilla
yesterday, and
chip.
it was a great test of my willpower not to eat them because I don't know if people know this or not, but there are a few things I love in the world more than warm tortilla chips and salsa and cheese dip and super hot salsa.
And margaritas.
I like margaritas, but I can get a low-carb margarita.
Yeah, but that's a garbage version of something delicious.
I would also like to live a little
So,
longer.
which reality TV shows do you watch, Dennis?
I feel like we're so far past that. I don't know why we discussed it.
You watched-
Colin and
We talk
Colin
about
and
The Masked Singer a
The
lot.
Masked Singer is what we were
I'm
going to
interested
talk
in that.
about.
I'm fascinated by that show. I
It's
haven't
like
watched it. But
I
I
understand.
You keep trying to talk, but I'm talking.
Ah.
So I sometimes go down a YouTube rabbit hole and watch all the gold buzzer performances from America's Got Talent.
I can't talk. Before we get to Masked Singer, let's talk about America's Got Talent.
Look,
I also
we're going to
do
lose
that.
this thread.
That's all right, but you finish because I have America's Got Talent.
There's also a show called The Voice, which doesn't interest me, but I've seen a couple of them. and I feel like they took from The Voice the portion of the show where the celebrity doesn't know what the person looks like, and they were like, how can we make the viewer feel like that? And so they put the singers in a mask.
To some degree.
But I haven't seen the show, so I don't know.
Well,
But let's talk about America's Got
Well, I do want to say this. I go down those America's Got. I don't watch the show.
I don't either.
But I do go down the YouTube rabbit hole with the America's Got Talent and the Gold Buzz. And I have, in the past 3 weeks, I have sat at my computer weeping like a baby over America's Got Talent auditions.
Really?
Because there's something about them, especially the ones. I watched this video where Simon stops the performance and see what happens
He goes
next.
like this.
He stops it and he says, "This isn't working. Try a different song." And then they're like,
Was
"Amazing."
it the little kid?
Well, that kid got me, but there's a
The
bunch
Michael
of them.
Jackson kid?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. And I wept like a baby. And then Susan Boyle came out and did her gold. And I was there's something about that rising to the challenge and surprising people and doing things that people don't expect of you. And it just gets me. And I'm not ashamed to say that they make me cry. So I'm afraid to watch America's Got Talent.
The most amazing one to me was this woman who lost her hearing, but she loved to sing. And she taught herself to sing just by using electronic metronomes and stuff.
I saw that.
She was on key. And she came out and sang better than anybody.
Yeah,
she
was crazy. Awesome. And those I get so sad. I mean, not sad. It's not sadness. It's just like they touch me in some way. I get inspired.
Have you ever voted for the outcome?
No, not because I never really watched America's Got Talent.
You watched that, Dennis?
No, I've done what you've done, where it'll show up on my Facebook and I'll watch a bunch of them. Because I've actually seen the one where the girl lost her hearing, and I've seen Susan Boyle's years ago. And part of the reason they're so affecting is that those shows are expertly produced.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
They get those. They find those moments. Because mostly a bunch of people go on there and are not impressive, is what happened. And then they show us the worst of that, and then they show us the best of it and produce it well. And
There's
it's really
one guy who went undercover and created a fake persona to prove how easy the code was to crack. And he created a story and all this stuff, and he put on a fake nose. He's some celebrity from YouTube.
Sure.
And he got through. And then eventually his makeup deteriorated because he was there for like 13 hours. And they were like, "Are you so-and-so?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Well, that's a shame.
So Masked Singer is a little like that, only and when I first came on, I thought it was going to be a competition show among just regular folks. But what it is they're masked celebrities that are singing. And they're trying to decipher who the celebrity is, and every episode one gets unmasked.
And they sing whether they're singers or not. Like professional football players go out there and not sing well.
They do a good job.
I mean, they all know how to sing. Like, I feel like they don't get anybody on there that is absolutely couldn't go do karaoke. But yeah, like,
how do you get on that show?
Be a celebrity.
Yeah. The thing is,
it's time on screen.
It's like the most popular Korean show or something. Like they brought it over from another country.
And it's a beautiful train wreck. I mean, it's just it's a crazy show. It's ridiculous.
When the panel of judges is really strange, it's
and that's the worst part of the show. I don't like it. Yeah. Because their only job is to guess the celebrity. But to me, it seems like they are trained to not guess anywhere close to who it really is to keep the audience
until the end. Yeah, until the end. And then for some reason, they brought Joel McHale on for 2 episodes against his will, seemingly. Like,
he hates it.
He chained his ass to the chair and insisted he talk at gunpoint. Because, he basically just mocked everything about it. And it seemed like he had it somewhere else to be. That was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, the panel of judges bug me. But I like trying to solve the mystery of who these people are. I mean,
so did you get this the one from 2 days ago?
No, this one from, and I don't know how, are we spoiling it or does it matter?
It's 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, nobody's
going to watch this.
Stop watching. That's true. Stop watching if you don't want to be spoiled on Masked Singer. There we go. On the episodes that have aired as of this recording. I did not. I thought for sure, I was dead certain it was Maya Rudolph.
It's not.
Because she seemed like Maya Rudolph's body type. I listened to Maya Rudolph singing on other YouTube videos, and it sounded like her.
Right.
She was a comedian. She played an attorney or whatever on The Good Place, or a judge on The Good Place.
Yes.
And it ended up not being Maya Rudolph.
It was Margaret Cho, right?
Margaret Cho. And that one was a surprise. The previous one, the deer, that was not a surprise, but he was like my third choice of who it might have been. So I knew it was somebody like that.
Yeah, I thought it was John Elway initially because of the initial clues, but I realized that John Elway has no sense of humor and would not be hammy, and this guy was being really hammy. So I switched to who it was, whose name escapes me at the moment.
Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah. I knew it was him by the time Robin Thicke was.
That's what I thought it was, but I didn't get him right. I mean, it was towards the end when I.
And Tommy Chong was spoiled for me, so I didn't get to watch that one. I already knew.
That got spoiled? Come on, people.
I watched it. I just watched it late. Then
Tommy Chong is the first one that I was dead certain of, and that one was weird because the moment he walked out for the first time, he walked out in his pineapple suit, and I just said, "That's Tommy Chong." He didn't say anything. He just walked out, and I was like, "That's Tommy Chong." And then the clue package came up, and the clue package was super obvious once I had already deciphered that it was Tommy Chong.
Right.
And I think it's because the pineapple had a smile that looked like Tommy Chong's smile.
Well, some of them are weird because, like, they said in the deer one that he didn't like the Ravens. And the Steelers and the Ravens are indeed rivals, but the Ravens did not exist when he played football. Like, that team was still the Browns. So some of the clues are misleading.
Well, see, he still has the pride of his team.
No, I don't think he gives a fuck. He was, like, long retired by the time the Ravens even came to be.
But
I think he gives a little bit of a fuck.
Maybe. But I think I'm pretty sure on at least...
Who do you think the alien is?
Oh, I figured that one out, or Cindy figured it out.
Sigourney Weaver.
No. Crap. I don't know. I'd have to ask Cindy.
Hugo Weaving.
Paris Hilton was a good guess on that.
I want to ask the illustrious Cindy Budd real quick. She'll text me and I'll answer later. So I think Cindy.
Andie MacDowell.
It's not. You don't even watch the show.
So?
It's a very thin woman with a high pitched singing voice.
Yeah, I don't know. I know who the peacock
it's
is.
Olive oil from that Popeye movie.
The peacock is absolutely. There's only one person it could be.
Who is it?
Again, I guess if you heard they were spoiled, don't spoil. The peacock is Donny Osmond.
Donny Osmond, yeah, it's a solid guess.
I thought he was dead. He's not.
Well, if he is, he's a damn good peacock.
What other reality shows you watch?
I like Survivor.
That's still on?
Yeah.
See, I only watched Survivor in college because my roommates watched it. So I watched it religiously, whether I liked it or not.
There'd be 30 seasons. They have 2 a year sometimes.
They used to have it twice every year.
Yeah.
Still?
Yeah, it's 2 times a year. And I watched it when it first came out, and I watched it for several seasons. And then I said, you know what, I'm kind of burning out on this show, and I stopped. Mm-hmm. And then several years back, I just turned it on and I got hooked into it. And the thing I like about it, and look, I get that Survivor is all script. You know, there's a lot of production that goes into it. It's not reality so much as fashioned reality.
Nothing.
But there was something about it that I don't have to worry about because I got to a point where I'd watch a TV show or a movie and I'd want to analyze the plot and figure out how they did this thing and how I could work that into a story or what they did wrong. But with Survivor, I don't have to worry about any of that. I can just watch it and enjoy it and not think about anything.
That's why I like really shitty movies better than
movies. Yeah.
It's more enjoyable to watch them.
Because you don't think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, when the boys were babies and I was alone with them a lot, just feeding them and changing diapers and stuff, I watched a lot of renovation shows because it is a very simple formula. You don't have to watch 60. You could watch the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes and really get what's impressive about it, or you can pay varying degrees of attention, and it was comforting. So, I feel like the Property Brothers and then the people from Fixer Upper were like my family members who were there with me while I was dealing with twin.
Sure.
Aaron Gillespie used to visit Dennis, and they'd watch
Oh, shit.
Big Brother After Dark for like 6 hours at a time.
I do like Big Brother.
After Dark.
See, I've never seen a single episode of Big Brother, but Big Brother After
Just
Dark.
watch After Dark.
It was a delight.
There was this one lady, I was over there once. There was this one lady who was like very friendly to everybody, and she would always do chores to help people out. And it showed her at night, like washing the dishes with like this hateful look on her face. Like
She was scheming, like she was doing the chores in order to be everybody's like mom that they didn't want to get rid of. Yeah, that show, and they cut the knees off of it. That's a weird way to put it. Cotton from King of the Hill. They cut the legs off of it by moving it from Showtime or whatever it was on to TV Guide channel or some shit, and they made it less interesting. But there was a time where like Saturday nights from like 11 p.m. till 3 in the morning, they would just play an unedited camera stream of whatever the most motion was going on and what camera from the Big Brother house. So it was them when the lights were off and they knew that they were not being recorded, just like scheming and talking and complaining and bickering and coming up with stupid fucking games they could play. Because they weren't allowed to watch TV or read books or write anything down or play any sort of board. Yeah, because they want it to be really boring so that it creates the drama. So they can't do anything fun.
Oh, that's weird.
They can lounge, they can drink and eat. So they created a spinner because they wanted to play Twister or something. So they created a spinner out of like pieces of trash that they had lying around to play some sort of game. And then they played a game called Big Booty, which Aaron Gillespie loves, where you have to like clap and say numbers as you go around the table. But yeah, that was fascinating. It was like just watching someone's security camera footage.
Well, they played Big Booty.
Yeah, well,
I'm thinking we got a new episode of Missouri Swagger, and
when Aaron Gillespie's a guest,
we're gonna have a Big Booty.
You play Big Booty.
I thought you meant just watch each other's security cameras. I don't think that you would like how often I don't have pants on.
I don't like that. I don't like thinking about it.
You would be afraid. He would be naked. You would be afraid.
Yeah, naked and afraid.
I'm only naked from the waist down. I never take off a t-shirt unless I'm gonna bathe. Look on your face.
I don't like this at all. And I don't like how comfortable you are with the whole concept.
Well, Kyle knows all about it.
Old news.
I like the Porky Piglet. I like a t-shirt.
It was like, have you seen the picture of him when he was Porky
I
Pig
did
for Halloween?
I did see the picture of Porky Pig.
But have the viewers seen it?
No.
The viewers haven't, but we can throw it up if Kyle can get it for me. Do you have a copy of it?
I'm sure.
Dennis won't send it to me.
That's an unsightly. I had on a flesh-colored bodysuit and a little jacket, and then like a horrifying pig face. And I thought it would just be funny, but what I found out is when a grown man puts on a flesh-colored bodysuit, it directs a lot of attention to the crotch area.
Yeah.
And I bought dancer, like ballet dancer underwear, thinking that would like flatten things out.
Is that the first underwear you'd worn that year?
Might have been. No, I always wear underwear if I'm like wearing dress pants. If I'm wearing slacks, I'll wear underwear.
What's most shocking about this story is that you want us to believe that you put on a suit and said, "Oh no, it draws too much attention to my crotch area." Everyone, because I have imagined you as Porky Pig were thrusting and
no,
check this out.
I was not. Here's the thing about the way I do Halloween is I tend to buy all of the elaborate items early.
Halloween's over, dude. We've talked about
I put them together.
Halloween's coming up.
I put them together. And I make all of the accessories and things. And then the night of, I put it on and am oftentimes surprised by what it is like to be in the suit. Like the year I was He-Man, I worked out for months to like lose weight so that I would look good in the costume. And until I put the costume on, I didn't realize I was going to be mostly naked around all of my peers and that was going to feel weird because I never tried it on until that moment. So yeah, that's what happened with Porky Pig. Also, again, I bought what I thought were crotch-flattening underwear that would make it like
See that
unobtrusive.
I did see Spider-Verse.
Did you like it?
I did. Did you see Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
We talked
We
about
could have talked about Spider-Verse, but
I wasn't here.
What did you think about
we didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I've seen it 3 times, once in 3D, which is a lot for me to go to a movie 3 times.
Sure.
But here's what bothers me. Like a week later, they were like, "Hey, everybody, here's the new Spider-Man trailer. Mysterio's the villain. And Mysterio doesn't belong in that movie. He belongs in a Spider-Verse movie.
Oh, so you don't like that Mysterio's in the new one?
I don't like that he has like weird computer stuff inside of his dome.
Does he?
Yeah.
How do you know this?
Because I watched the trailer.
From the trailer?
They showed him in the trailer, and he has like weird.
I thought
computer effects.
I just saw him in the thing.
No, at the end, he's in. You see the dome head.
Well, I saw the dome head, but
And there's like weird stuff happening.
well, he's like.
Not a fan of it.
Hmm.
I'll go see the movie. I'm sure I'll like it.
The thing is, the problem is the Spider-Verse. Anything was possible, and they pushed the art of it, and they pushed like everything so that it was exciting at every moment. And you can't do that in live action no matter what, because the physics have to look like they make sense. And so, yeah, no live action superhero movie is going to be as visually as exciting as Spider-Verse because they push the envelope so hard. But
I feel like, go ahead.
As a money-making endeavor, there are a lot of people who will go see every live-action superhero movie and think cartoons are for kids. So Spider-Verse is like massively successful for what it is, and it hasn't made a third of what.
Really, is that true? Wow.
It makes good money. Like it makes good money, but not compared to the Marvel, like the live-action Spider-Man movie.
So when the first Iron Man came out, it changed everything about superhero movies. And then the next big touchstone, I feel like, was Guardians of the Galaxy. It changed everything about superhero movies. But in the time between them, they made the first Ninja Turtles movie, the Michael Bay movie. And it came out a week after Guardians. So I went to Guardians, and I was like, this is crazy. And then I went to that Ninja Turtle movie, and I was like, this is like an old Iron Man movie. This is lame. And that's how I feel about this new Spider-Man trailer.
Do you think it's a step back from what you've seen?
What they've just shown us is possible. And Mysterio isn't a character. He's a costume from like an Eric Larson comic.
Well, that's the thing, is if they make him into a character, it will be fine.
Yeah.
Because Jake Gyllenhaal's a good actor. Like, it's possible. It's possible. Also, did you see Homecoming? Did you see the first one?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's very character-driven. It's very much a high school movie with superhero stuff in it. So if they do that and they make the villain interesting.
Well, I agree, because I think the Vulture is a stupid-looking villain to be in a movie, but I really like what they did with him.
It's also extremely well cast.
Oh, yeah, he did a great job. That was all great.
Yeah, I like the way Mysterio looks. I would have rather had any villain other than Mysterio, probably. But
Kraven the Hunter.
Kraven would have been awesome, right?
Well, Kraven just tries to shoot Spider-Man with a gun.
No, he tries to hunt him with a blowgun, maybe.
Kingpin tried to shoot Spider-Man with a gun in Spider-Verse.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah, but his goal is not to hang his head on a trophy wall. I feel like Kraven is a difficult character to make the villain.
I'm sure they would make a very character-driven story to make Kraven a very good character.
They did that once in Jumanji.
That was not Kraven.
That bad guy is totally Kraven.
No, he was not Kraven. That Hunter's very cool, but he's not Kraven cool.
Do you remember when they rebooted Spider-Man in 2002? What was that called? Ultimate Spider-Man? And they and Kraven was like the crocodile hunter.
Oh, that is vaguely familiar. Yeah. That was one of the lizards.
Oh, you mean the comic? In the Bendis comic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that what it's called?
Oh, you're talking about the comic book.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't sound familiar at all. I thought there was a movie where he was
called?
like
Ultimate Spider-Man?
Ultimate Spider-Man is what you're talking
That's
about.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I don't remember
it
him being
2000. It was the same year as the movie.
You what?
That came out 2000 or 2001. It was right after the Spider-Man.
That's the one where the Green Goblin.
I'm all mixed up.
There's a scene where the Green Goblin in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie throws a pumpkin bomb at some extras on a balcony, and it blasts, and they turn into colored skeletons.
Yes.
And I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
But
I know, well, hear me out. I know at some point I'll be like, kind of like that. It hasn't happened yet.
I like
but I'm almost there because
I
watched it on YouTube the other day. I was like, and so at some point I will like it.
I actually like anytime a person turns to a skeleton.
And so you must love Home Alone 2. That must be your favorite holiday film.
Do they turn into skeletons?
At one point, Daniel Stern grabs something and is electrocuted. And he goes. That movie's terrible.
Yeah, it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie.
And
A movie that has aged very well in terms of watchability and entertainment value is The Scorpion King.
oh yeah, I agree with that.
That movie, like I couldn't be bothered to watch more than a minute of that when it was on cable when it first came out. But I've watched it recently, and that is like a Looney Tunes cartoon starring The Rock.
Mhm. Not The Rock, Dwayne The Rock.
Yes, Dwayne The Rock
He was
Johnson.
still The Rock at the time, right? Because that was his big
I
break.
think he was Dwayne The Rock.
He's always The Rock to me. Yes, Get Smart was the first time he was Dwayne The Rock, I think.
Plus, it's got
That was his first film.
what's the guy's name from Renegade? The
Lorenzo
sidekick?
Lamas?
No, the sidekick that wore the Native American is in Scorpion King too. It's like
So my problem with Scorpion King was I'd already seen The Mummy that features the Scorpion
It was
King.
terrible, yeah.
And he's a villain.
Well, I mean, the CG was terrible. I
Yeah.
don't know if the movie was
And he's a big, mean villain.
yeah.
And then I had to watch The Scorpion King and try to figure out if this dude was a good guy or not. He's a good guy, but
Two things. Number one, you didn't have to do anything.
exercised your mind.
they did. They
Sounds like they
completely.
made you think.
They made me think about villainy in a whole new light.
Well, I would like to think that if I die
You
and
will.
get resurrected, that I'm not held responsible for what my resurrected evil future version does. So that's what happened.
Well, I hope that works out.
Yeah.
Like a zombie, plenty of good people are turned into zombies in zombie movies, and they were the villain when they were a zombie, but they weren't when they were a person.
But nobody holds it against him.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. You don't need to hold what happened hundreds of years after his death. You don't need to hold The Rock responsible for that.
Well, I couldn't get excited for knowing that this dude was going to get turned into a scorpion centaur.
Did you like Star Wars Episode 1?
Wait a minute.
Were you like, I gotta go see Star Wars Episode 1?
Did you just have to stop and think about what Star Wars Episode 1 is?
I was trying to think what he was talking about for a second because I don't understand what.
I'm
I
talking
don't know
about
where you're going.
Anakin Skywalker, who turns into
Did I
Darth
like
Vader.
it?
No, but when you went in, were you like, I can't wait to see this movie? Or were you like, man, this is weird. This hero is going to turn into a villain?
Well, I didn't know what they were going to do in the movie, but
Hey,
no, I didn't. I don't watch trailers that often.
Also, we were 17 when that movie came out,
not this guy.
which means Cullen was 27. So if he liked that movie, he deserves a thump in the side of the head.
Oh, you can like that movie at the time. It's fair.
I was not a fan of any of the original trilogy movie, the prequel trilogy.
You can like that
movies.
movie now if you want to, but
It's even harder
Well,
to make
I
that
like
argument.
it. I have a more of a respect for them now because my son loves them.
Right.
And the third one was which is the best of those three.
Because they murder all the children, which you
Where he
love.
murders all the children. That's my kid's favorite Star Wars movie, or
that's
at least
his favorite part where he
it's his
murders the
favorite.
children.
Well, I don't know what his favorite part is, but it's his favorite Star Wars movie, or it was until I think he likes the first of the new trilogy,
The
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
That's his favorite now. But I have more
That's
respect.
good.
I have more respect for those movies because my kid loves them so much.
What's your favorite one?
Favorite Star Wars movie?
Not the best Star Wars movie. What's your favorite?
Well, my favorite is the best. My favorite is Empire Strikes Back.
What about you, Dennis?
My favorite?
We all know that Empire Strikes Back is the best.
But it is legitimately my favorite Star Wars movie too.
I mean,
Only the best for Cullen Bunn.
it is really good.
Yeah, but what's your favorite one? Are you gonna put? You're like, man, I guess I'll just throw on a Star Wars movie. Empire Strikes Back. Not me.
I probably would.
Return of the Jedi for me.
Well,
See, I
Return of
wouldn't-
Jedi
I
would
wouldn't-
probably be a close second for that because of that. But
I wouldn't watch any of the original trilogy unless someone else wanted to watch it. Or my kid. I mean, I guess my kids are someone else. Because when the remastered DVDs came out, I worked at Best Buy,
Oh,
and they had a
I've heard this.
60-inch television right next to where I had to stand all day that was playing the fucking movies on loop for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I've seen each one of those movies at least 25 times.
so Empire Strikes Back for me is my favorite because I think there's a number of reasons. One, it's genuinely the best movie,
It's the best one.
but there was such an excitement for me when that movie was coming out, like before it had come out. It was a movie that, I loved Star Wars. I had Star Wars sheets and all the action figures, and I lived and breathed Star Wars.
Mhm.
from Empire. Remember him?
He's from Return of the
Yeah,
Jedi. I don't know his name. That's not Wicket.
Is it Logray?
I don't know. But anyway,
Logray is the medicine man.
there's an issue of Famous Monsters magazine. I have it over here on the shelf that did like a thing where people could use their action figures to plot out what Star Wars 2 might look like. And I remember reading that article over and over, thinking about those pictures of people posing their action figures in interesting ways. And then I saw the sets of Hoth, and I saw a picture of Darth Vader walking through an icy room, and I was like, whatever this movie's going to be, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. And I just had such a build-up to Empire Strikes Back. My dad took me out of school early to watch it on opening day, and it just was an awesome experience anyway, all the way around. And that movie got me so excited for Return of the Jedi because of the way it ended that it just everything about that just really it was just awesome. Now, Return of the Jedi has the best opening 30 minutes of any of the Star Wars movies.
To me, that's what Star Wars is, because we had it taped off television, but the tape ran out. And those are all the toys I had, because that's when I was into it, so that's when I was getting toys.
Yeah.
And so I rarely saw the movie as a kid, but I played with all those toys. So that Halloween, Jabba's Palace stuff, Max Rebo Band,
that was an awesome scene.
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, all that was
Ranker.
awesome.
What's also, but part of it is that when you were super excited about Star Wars 2 coming out, Kyle and I were being conceived, so we couldn't be excited
Gross.
about that.
Yeah,
Gross.
fueled by your passion.
When Jedi came out, we were 3, so Star Wars already existed as a thing by the time we can remember.
Gross.
Stuff that was
My
around.
dad took me out of school for Jedi too.
What?
It was field day. I remember that. It was a field day at my school.
You had a real field day.
And then I had and then someone said, Cullen, your dad's here to pick you up. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. What day is it? Star Wars Day.
Yeah, we got to be that excited about episode 2,
And the special.
but we were like in college.
Oof, episode 2.
And well, because I remember like thinking episode 1, you forget these things, but you'd never seen an alien world fully created like that. You'd never seen a lightsaber battle where people were jumping around and were badasses. Like everything in that is now hum
I've
ho
never seen Watto before.
was really fucking cool. What?
You've never seen Watto before.
Well, yeah, exactly. Watto, like you've never seen like a plump little bug man float around with
Like I said,
a leather
respect
poop
those
satchel
people
over
because
his butthole.
my kid loves it.
I'd like to be Watto for Halloween with a pair of that leather cover nuns.
Gross.
I feel like the reason they're like that is like, you know, when you take a carriage ride and there's the poop sack that hangs under the horses so the poop doesn't fall on the ground. That's what's going on with Watto.
So it does fall on the ground.
Dung satchel. Yes. Colin doesn't have any idea.
He's a Tidarian. Wear dung satchels.
I get it. Tidarians. Awesome.
Toilets don't work on them.
Like the Force and Jabba. Toilets don't work on
Did we
me.
ever see him walk, or does he float the whole time?
Why would he walk? Would you?
Yeah, he has wings.
Well, he might be like a hummingbird. Birds have wings; they walk
He's
all the
like a
fucking time. But a hummingbird doesn't; they just hop and fly.
But he just
Maybe.
flies.
Well, okay, well that maybe
We
that's
have
why he
seen
doesn't.
him destitute on the side of a Tatooine house, having lost everything, and he doesn't get a mercy killing. Anakin doesn't kill him.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the hologramians or whatever the hell that is.
They're called supernaturals. That one doesn't
Look,
work on
this
camera.
one has a terrifying vision of Cullen in the
I know.
reflection.
All right, so listen, Kyle, you commented on our comment section, and you
Uh-huh.
said that you had a story you would like to tell from Missouri Swagger.
Oh, I said I had a great story because you said to comment below. I
All
have
right.
a great story.
Can
so
we
I did.
hear your great story?
Yeah, Dennis has heard this story, I'm sure.
Well, I don't know that I have, and I'd like to.
This doesn't take place in Missouri, but
That's all
it
right.
features two folks who were born and bred. That's a lie, too. My dad wasn't born in Missouri, but he lived here for a long time.
All right.
I was in Tulsa at a convention, and my dad was traveling through Tulsa, and we happened to be there at the same time. So he came to the convention. It was a pretty small con. My dad doesn't care about comic book stuff at all,
Right.
but he just wanted to hang out for a little bit. So he came in, And he sat down at my table, and he was like, so what's there to do at this comic book convention? And I thought, what would my dad care about? And at this time, any convention in the Midwest you went to, Peter Mayhew was there. And you should Google Peter Mayhew right now. He played Chewbacca, and he would sit in a recliner because he was such a large man. He would sit in a recliner that was held up with cinder blocks, and that's where you would go up to have him sign your stuff. But I thought, my dad's seen Star Wars. My dad knows who Chewbacca is. So I said, well, Peter Mayhew's here. He's the guy who played Chewbacca. And my dad was like, all right, okay. Where is he? And I said, he's over there. He's got to go over there. And so I watched my dad walk slowly. And my dad walks with a limp. So it was a very slow process to see him walk toward the area where the celebrities were. He walked and walked, and he got about halfway there, and he looked. And then he stopped and turned around, and he came back up to me, and he said, that's just an ugly old man. That's all I got.
What did he expect?
That's what I want to. I want to see inside your father's mind's eye when he's heading over there. What he thinks he's.
What bells and whistles?
Yeah. Like, imagine if Chewbacca himself was actually there, seated behind a table.
I got since I'm not on the show very often.
Yeah, another one?
I'm going to tell one more
All
story.
right, I'm sitting back. And I'm buckling in for this one.
This is another story about my dad.
Let's hear it.
So for a time, I'm not very close to my cousins, but for a time, my cousin got a job at Quick Trip by my house that I used to live at. And I went there and I was like, that's my cousin, but I don't think he recognizes me. So when I checked out, I snapped a photo of him and I sent it to my dad and said, hey, look, my cousin works at Quick Trip. He doesn't know who I am. And my dad was like, why would you do that? This may or may not have happened two more times. I don't recall. But much later, I was at Sunfresh.
What is Sunfresh?
It's a grocery store in Kansas City, a large grocery store. And my dad was in town, and he saw me, and he didn't let his presence be known, but he hid behind the candy rack, and he took some photos of me. And then he came up behind me, and he said, hey, and held up the phone, which is a photo that he'd just taken, and said, you're not the only one. Except I wasn't at Sunfresh that day. And I can only imagine the guy was like, what? And my dad would not have cared. He would have just been like, oh, and walked away.
Oh, that's incredible.
All right.
That's great, Kyle. Good work.
Kyle, tell everyone out in the world where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me on Instagram at KyleStrom_, not the other Kyle Stroms. You can find me on Twitter at KStrom. You can find me, go to my website, which is KyleStrom.com, or Facebook. Look me up and you'll find me.
Boom.
Strom has an H in it.
STRAHM. Hopefully, that will be somewhere on this YouTube page for this video. But
you'd hope. Sometimes he just doesn't post stuff for 9 days, and you never know what's going to happen. Cullen, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me at my website, which is cullenbun.com, or on Twitter at cullenbun. You can also find me on my Patreon, which is search for Cullen Bun on Patreon, where you can find serialized novels, serialized comics, short stories, behind-the-scenes information, and writing tips so that you can be awesome like me.
This is the energy level that we get on the fucking bungalow. But whenever you record with me, there's like no smile, no energy until you're promoting yourself at the end.
Because I'm here.
Just do episodes about your work, and then maybe you'll chipper the fuck up.
You know what, Dennis? No offense. Can't even do it. I'm burned out of my anger today. Thank you for your comment, Dennis, and I appreciate that. Tell everyone where they can find
Before
you.
you do that,
Oh, no.
every month do you change your Twitter name into a clever pun?
No, only on Halloween and sometimes Christmas.
Okay. What is it now?
It's just Cullen Bun. Maybe Thunder Falcon, because when Dennis decided to change his name back to Dennis Hallam, I said I was going to change mine to Thunder Falcon. But
somebody asked what your real name was, and I made a joke that was just for you, and you didn't acknowledge it at all.
What did you say?
I said larval stage Batra was what.
Oh, is that what that was about?
Yeah.
All I saw was larval stage Batra. I thought you were searching it and you'd accidentally typed it into Twitter. I just assumed.
I was at Colin's house.
You were searching for larval stage Batra.
No, when I was at your house for CaveCon, you did a 20-minute dissertation on your favorite Godzilla toy, which is a larval stage Batra, and you explained what that is.
Where is it?
So I thought that was funny.
All right.
Where can people find you, Dennis Hallam?
Mostly on Twitter. It's at Hopeless Dent, which now says my real name, and then Dennis Hopeless Comics on Instagram. I have a bunch of new books coming up in March.
Books, hold your horses there. Do you own DennisHallam.com?
I don't know. I can't imagine it's sought after.
This is on YouTube.
You don't anymore.
I mean, I do.
DennisHallam.com. Big picture, you and Porky Pig.
I do own DennisHopeless.com, and it lapsed several years ago.
Oh, it's too late.
I don't need a website. What is this? Not 1997. I need GeoCities. Yeah. Also, my books are coming out. I do love Star Wars, even though I said negative things about it earlier. And I have Vader Dark Visions #1 comes out in March, and Spider-Man City at War comes out in March. And
wait, I got a bone to pick with you. This comes from Scott Drummond, who told me that you don't know what you're talking about, that there is no good ending to Spider-Man, the game.
Well,
you just made that up.
I didn't make it up. I found what happened was my understanding of the storyline of the Spider-Man video game comes largely from material that was sent to me from the games department. And some of that stuff was from before they actually produced the game. And so some things changed. So there are actually plot points that I wrote in early drafts of the script.
Wait a minute.
That had to be changed.
Are you telling me that I lied to my kid?
Yes. Yes, evidently, according to Reddit and Scott Drummond,
Drummond knows. Scott Drummond.
You know what? I don't give a damn what you're reading. I don't care what kind of research you're reading on it. I'm in the goddamn trenches playing the game.
My children are 4, and there's 2 of them. I don't have as much time to play video games. Because if I showed them you could play video games with that contraption that they want to watch Paw Patrol on, I would never do anything else with my life. And then they'd take it away when they're taking
my son searched for hours trying to figure out that ending.
Well, how come you're not the one that told me?
How
come you're not the one that didn't?
I'm going to say your son just experienced what it was like to play video games before the internet.
Yeah.
And to try
That's true.
Endlessly to find the way to do a thing that some asshole made up.
It's true.
Well, I'm going to tell him this is going to be the second time the two of you have traumatized him.
Don't blame me.
Second time you've traumatized him.
How did I traumatize
him? Are you talking about when we made him go talk to that stormtrooper?
Yes! Years ago when he was a tiny little baby, we were at a convention, and there was a stormtrooper standing there, and he's very still. He was just standing, it was like, it's a statue. And you guys said, hey, he can go up and talk to him. It's just a statue if he wants to see it. It's nobody in there. So my little shy little kid walks up to that stormtrooper, and then he moves, and my kid's like, ah! And guess what happened?
We laughed.
Jackasses laughed like hyenas.
Cindy didn't like that.
I gave him many mouth balls.
No, Cindy didn't like it. It took her a long time to forgive both of them for that.
I'm on good terms with Cindy. I just talked to her.
Yeah, okay.
She likes. I think she likes Jasmine, but she puts up with me.
Oh, okay. Whatever you say. We'll see.
She needs to produce our show so it'll happen every week.
Her dog likes me. Doesn't like you.
That's true.
You say God likes you?
Dog. The dag. The dag.
All right.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
folks.
Thanks, folks. We'll have another episode soon.
I won't be there.
Oh, it's me sad.